it going?
Hi, everybody.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to Story Time. Don't ask me what that is. I don't have an answer.
It's just something.
It's just something. It's like when your body moves, it's like a Muppet dance. You know what I'm saying? It's a Muppet. It's gonna take off. It's gonna take off.
Okay, yeah.
Somebody's gonna take it off.
Yeah,
somebody gonna do it. But listen, welcome to Story Time. If you don't know who I am, I'm Bonnie G in the place to be. Hey. And if you don't know who she is, I don't know why, but she's none other than Auntie Shelly on the beats. That's right. Y'all know we don't do that for ourselves, but we do it for the community. Hashtag. We are community minded. I promise you that. Okay, if you hear children in the background, listen, suffer not the little children. Okay? They know what we're doing, but sometimes children be children in.
Yes. Yeah.
So if you don't know, I got 3. Okay, got two nieces over here. All right, so the children might be children.
Yeah.
Okay, ing on that. Other than that, y'all, we want to welcome you again to Storytime. Shalom, Auntie Shishi. I hope y'all got y'all thinking caps on.
Yeah, she's probably ready.
I know she probably. I'm low key thinking somebody is what is it that we're not supposed to be doing? Studying before.
You know she is.
Mm-hmm.
I know she is.
She low key studying before.
She was like, "Y'all not gonna get
right." The studying. We supposed to study together. All right, but listen. That's called a strategy. You go ahead and strategize, Auntie Shishi. All right. So before we go into this 90th chapter, we're gonna go into a word of prayer really quick. Father, yeah, we thank you for allowing us to be here. Thank you for keeping us throughout the day, Father, keeping us from hurt, harm, or danger, whether it was seen or unseen. Father, you have kept us, and we know it wasn't our own ability that kept us. I mean, that's impossible. Okay, we cannot keep ourselves. And so we just thank you for your keeping power. We thank you for your unchanging hand. We ask that you be in the midst of story time. You said where 2 or 3 are gathered in your name, you will definitely be in the midst, Father. Wherever you see fit. I mean, if you want to be here, that's fine. Wherever, as long as you are amongst us, okay? We're the 2, they're the 3, Father, and we just want you in the midst. And just may your people be encouraged. May we pull out whatever it is that you would have us to pull out. Please give us understanding. Please give us wisdom. Please help us to read your word in the right context, that no one is confused, Father, because you are not the author of confusion, and we ain't going to represent it. And so we just thank you. We pray all these things in your son, Yahweh Shai HaMashiach's name. Amen.
Hallelujah.
Okay, you right. Oh,
what she was saying?
She said, "Leave me alone. I'm your elder." You right? Yes, ma'am. Listen, got it.
Go catch me like I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm going to read this.
She said, yes. Okay, I'm using wisdom. You hear me? I like that. Yes, ma'am. All right, y'all. So if you have your Bibles and those that are in the chat, please stay in the chat. Because we learn together. We unlearn and then we relearn. Okay, and then we do that all over. We just copy and paste together.
Yes.
So get into that chat if you can. If you have questions, feel free to put it in the chat. But if you have questions later on, go ahead and email us at storytimewff@gmail.com. Also, there was a young lady that reached out to us that said she was looking for Enoch 1-6. I have just edited that video. It's not the blue screen, but you can now find it. It's just it just says Storytime Enoch chapters 1-6. Because before it just said welcome back to Storytime. Yeah. And normally if you're new to Storytime, you know that if we're going into a new book, we will not let you know what book because it's a surprise. In the words of my little niece when she was little. She's now 18, but it's a surprise. Okay. So we don't tell you what book we're in, keep you in suspense. All right. But with that being said, we're going to go into chapter 90. Shalom, Auntie Melly Mel. Okay. And I observed during the time that thus 37 shepherds were overlooking, all of whom finished in their respective periods as the first. Other than receive them into their hands, they might overlook them in their respective periods, every shepherd in his own period.
I remember we talked about this yesterday, talking about all the kings of Yisrael.
Afterwards, I saw in the vision that all the birds of heaven arrived, eagles, the vests, the kites, and ravens. The eagle instructed them all. They began to devour the sheep, to peck out their eyes, and eat up their bodies. The sheep then cried out, for their bodies were devoured by the birds. I also cried out and groaned in my sleep against the shepherd which overlooked the flock. And I looked, while where the sheep were eaten up by the dogs, by the eagles, and by the kites. They neither left them their body, nor their skin, nor their muscles, until their bones alone remained, until their bones fell upon the ground, and the sheep became diminished.
Okay. So think about it. Remember, we already talked about how the ego instructed them all. That's Rome.
Yes.
So back then, it was Rome. It's still Rome.
Now.
Right now, it has not changed. It may give the appearance that it changed, but it really hasn't. The ego is still instructing them all. We can call it the American eagle all we want, but that was Rome's standard from the beginning.
Yep.
Because we still under that rule.
Mm-hmm.
So, and notice how they're beginning. And remember, we're the sheep.
Yes.
It's not everybody in the whole wide world, even though they are the world's. Rome is instructing the world, but they're talking about right now what they're doing to the sheep, Yah's people. They're devouring them. And we talked about all the things that they've done and are doing to us right now.
Mm-hmm.
So, and we also talked about how prophecy sometimes has a twofold meaning. It means them then and it means now. Mm-hmm. So we're starting to look at kind of in that kind of field right now, a dual thing, because remember, we're going to go back to Egypt.
Yes.
And he's going to have to bring us back out. So
wow,
we'll have to go through, and you could even think of like all the kings because they're still kings on the earth. Let's just face it. In America, they just call it a president.
Mm-hmm.
Some people, they call it a sultan. So some countries, they call it different things, but it's still a king. It's the ruler. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So now see how they're devouring us and
leaving nothing behind.
Yeah, bones.
Taking everything, skin, bones. Everything, muscles.
All
everything.
That's left is our bones.
Mm-hmm.
But remember the valley of dry bones.
Mm-hmm.
He gonna put them bones back together.
Oh.
Remember?
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm. They just left us out there. No burial, no nothing. Just.
Nor their muscles, and that's the very thing he put back. Their muscles, their sinews, and all
everything.
Of that. Mm-hmm. Everything which the enemy had taken. Wow, he put it back. All right, 7. I observed likewise during the time that 23 shepherds were overlooking, who completed in their respective periods 48 periods. Then were small lambs, born of those white sheep, who began to open their eyes and to see, crying out to the sheep. The sheep, however, cried not out to them, neither did they hear what they uttered to them, but were deaf, blind,
obdurate.
I like that. I'm going to look that up in a minute.
Yeah.
In the greatest degrees, if you're faster than me, because we learned together.
Yes. And so while she's doing that, I'm looking in my notes and they're talking about the
stubbornly refusing to change one opinion or course of action.
Yeah, that was quick.
That was quick.
The 20.
That sounds like us. Sure.
Wait.
No, we
okay, yeah. Yeah, and someone was talking about the 23 shepherds.
Uh-huh.
They were likening that to the Sanhedrin, because the Sanhedrin were put in place to watch over us. But we know under Roman rule, they, first of all, half of them weren't even legit. But remember, they're a big reason why they killed Mashiach.
Mm-hmm.
They just wanted him dead. They were doing all kind of things. And then were small lambs, 389. They're referring to them as the 12 prophets.
Huh.
I believe there was more than 12, but there's some. So that part was, you'd be like, were there only 12 prophets? You know, okay, I think it was more, but remember, they could be speaking because remember, some of this stuff hasn't happened yet.
Yeah.
So they could be. I have a page on our website. Remember when I put all the prophets on? I'm gonna try to find it.
Yes, and I'm just let's see, 90 and 10.
Yeah, the numbers 35 and 23 made 58 and now 37. Yeah, we're not gonna get. So wait, what did we go up to? We did 389. There were small lambs born of those white sheep. So the white sheep, of course, is us. So whoever the prophets were had to come from us, came from our nation. So I can lose my place. Who began to open their eyes and to see, crying out to the sheep. So the prophets are telling the sheep, y'all acting up. Come on, y'all stop. Come back to y'all. Neither did they hear what they uttered to them, but were deaf, blind, and obdurate, like you said, in the greatest degree. Still being stubborn.
Yep, not willing to
change. You done been everywhere in captivity, and he done brought you out, and you still.
You see miracles and miracles and miracles, and you somehow allow your eyes to be shut again.
Yes. You still acting crazy.
I'm telling you, it's a slow process. I'm going to go into 10.
Okay.
I saw in the vision that ravens flew down upon those lambs, that they seized one of them, and that tearing the sheep in pieces, they devoured them. I saw also that the horns grew upon those lambs, and that the ravens lighted down upon their horns. I saw too that a large horn sprouted out on an animal among the sheep, and that their eyes were opened. He looked at them. Their eyes were wide open, and he cried out to them. Then the Dabala saw him, all of whom ran to him. And besides this, all the eagles, the aves, the ravens, the kites were still carrying off the sheep, flying down upon them, devouring them. The sheep were silent, but the Debela lamented and cried out.
Okay. Let's take this. So you got I see it.
Oh, that's.
I'll count the prophets later. I don't know why I can't find it. I always run into it. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Eli.
Okay. So they're calling out to the prophets. They're not listening. So now you go. I saw in the vision that the ravens flew down upon those lambs. They seized one, tore them up. I saw too that a large horn sprouted out on an animal among the sheep, and that their eyes were open. So their eyes were closed for a long, long time.
Yeah.
And remember, we're not talking about every single one of the sheep. We're talking about there were still, of course, some righteous. And I think right in this time, they're talking about the time of the Maccabees.
Okay.
I remember we were reading in Maccabees how some of our own were even turning against us. They were telling us. Remember, we had like Yehuda, always going to battle. I think, that was his name. Always going to battle. Remember, we were sad when he died, and then his brother took over. Like the Maccabees, it's called the Hammer. Yeah, all them brothers was doing, and they was killing the brothers, and then one the little baby.
He was like, "Nah, you ain't gonna rape me."
You jumped in the fire, like, oh no. You
his cheeks apart.
Not the one. And they remember their mom was like, "You better not back down." And then after they was all gone, then they got the mom.
Yeah,
she ain't back down either. She's like, no.
Yeah,
one thing we ain't gonna do
is that.
So then we got all this, and then they come to the large horn. I'm gonna hit you with another question. Sheila, I just want you to just give me 5 minutes to see if somebody else go answer. So they're disobedient all this time for the most part. Then someone arrives on the scene. Let's say, come on, y'all. It's time to get back where we're supposed to be. Who was that? Don't think too hard or you'll pass it up. They disobedient.
Origin, please. Where we are in the story of the person that's bringing them. I gotta treat this like a
after the Maccabees.
Okay.
So we're going in order. So after the Maccabees, who appears on the scene and says, "Come back. Come back. Come on."
Can you use it in a sentence, please?
I just said a sentence. Okay, let me think what it said without
giving it away. Yeah, this is tough.
If I just have to ask the question right, and then you're gonna know. But I got to figure out how to ask it without giving it away. Okay. Okay, so they're being disobedient, right? Yes. Nah, that's gonna be worse.
It might not.
His dad got in trouble.
That's what you.
His dad got in trouble. I can't say the dad's name or you get it. It's too easy. The dad got in trouble.
Hey, Creating Tuck. The dad got in trouble.
The dad got in trouble. So they're being disobedient. We're talking about after the time. And I know this is kind of tough for people who didn't read Maccabees. But the dad got in trouble.
See, I think I'm going further back.
No. Keep going forward.
Did this dad get in trouble for not chastising some people?
No.
Okay, so I'm in the wrong book.
So now there were some people who were right, of course. I mean, we're still following Yah, but then there were some who wasn't. You still got the Sanhedrin on the scene. They a little bit upset. They was always playing looky-loo.
Oh, Ronald said, Uncle Ronald, good to see you, man. He said Samuel.
No, we passed Samuel. Samuel is way before Maccabees. Samuel is before the kings.
Wait, but the clue is his dad
got in trouble.
That's the clue.
Okay, his dad got in trouble for not believing.
Oh, and did his dad wasn't able to talk after that?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So his dad had to learn sign language.
Who was that?
Well, that dad got in trouble. That was that was like, you ain't gonna get it.
Yeah, the dad got in trouble because he just was like,
John the Baptist.
Very good.
Yeah,
you got it.
That's my cousin from Florida.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
John the Baptist comes on the scene. Remember,
cousin James said the same thing.
Yeah, he started baptizing and say, "Come back, because the kingdom of heaven is at hand. One's coming right after me."
Man, I feel like we came so far. Like we just went whoop.
But you went through remember
Yeah, I know.
We went through the whole Maccabees and the whole. And anyone who hasn't read Maccabees, please do, because you will understand the way Mashiach talked to some people. You will understand it better. because you will know, oh, he was saying that because they ain't legit.
Mm-hmm.
He ain't answering. He ain't in y'all kangaroo court not answering you because you have no business questioning him.
Right.
You ain't legit.
Right. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
So you got John the Baptist. Okay. So we here, right? John the Baptist.
All right.
Well, how far did you? Okay.
I'm on 17 when I start.
Okay.
17.
Do 15 again.
Okay. Then the Debella saw him. I might be mispronouncing it. All of whom ran to him. And besides this, all the eagles, the aves, the ravens, and the kites were still carrying off the sheep, flying down upon them and devouring them. The sheep were silent, but the Debella lamented and cried out.
Okay. Again, remember, this part is hard, like, to keep it just kind of all straight, because it's like history repeats itself, but then he goes, oh, I left something out. Let's talk. Like, so we are in no way being dogmatic about this.
Okay.
But I just want us all to at least, we're going to get knowing our history out of this. If we don't get nothing else, we're going to know ourselves. Our history. Yeah, we're going to see ourselves and we're going to know. Let's not do that again. Because we ain't getting no third time. Ain't no third trip to Mitzrayim. Okay?
All right.
So, now this part,
Debella.
I'm trying to think. Okay, so of course, with the natural progression, we know who comes after John. We know who comes after John, but I don't want us to go there yet.
Okay, fair enough.
Okay. So the first. Okay, wait. Just wait 1 second. 1 second. Okay. Okay, so you got John the Baptist. Then you got, well, another Debella. Then a Debella came.
Said then the Debella.
Then the Debella saw him. So he saw John. All of whom ran to him, because remember, people were going to John the Baptist, getting baptized. And beside this, all the eagles, the vestites, and the ravens, and the kites were still carrying off the sheep, flying down upon them and devouring them. Okay? So even while John the Baptist, because remember, Yashra was there, but it don't belong to them, and it's just Judah. It's just the southern kingdom in the land. Okay.
There's all these other nations.
But there's all these other nations, and Rome is still in control.
Yeah.
Okay. Then what did you read to?
70.
Okay. The sheep were silent, but the Debella lamented and cried out. Then the ravens contended and struggled with them. Okay, now do 18.
They wished among them to break his horn, but they prevailed not over him. I looked on them until the shepherds, the eagles, the aves, and the kites came, who cried out to the ravens to break the horns of the Debella, to contend with him and to kill him. But he struggled with them and cried out that help might come to him. Continue.
I gotta think of a way to get them to the Debella. Okay. Keep going.
Okay. Then I perceived that the man came who had written down the names of the shepherds and who ascended up before Yahuwah of the sheep. He brought assistance and caused everyone to see him descending to the help of the Debella.
Okay. Remember yesterday we talked about somebody who was writing all these records down and stuff. Y'all remember his name? It's the name of one of y'all presidents. Almost kind of the same. Yeah, pretty much same name. But I think we pronounce, just if you say it, I'm going to give it to you. One of y'all, look, you ain't got but one president that had a halfway Hebrew name.
Oh, okay.
Come on, y'all.
Okay.
Come on.
Yes. Come on, cousin. He said Barack.
Come on. That's the old, hey, come on.
Listen, you have me, we going back. So I'm like, I don't know too many of them going back. Okay?
Yeah, their name was like Teddy Roosevelt.
Yeah, that's
Richard
where I was going.
Nixon
And I was like, I didn't see that in the scripture yesterday.
No.
Yeah.
So.
Oh yeah, Baruch was here. Yep.
Yeah, so they're trying to. It's hard for me to put this in words. They're trying to, basically, like I said, let's right now learn our history through this.
Okay.
Because the way because you know how when you tell a story and you say, and then Johnny ate the corn and then he went, but then you go back and wait, I need to tell you what was on the corn. It was some hot sauce and some, like, it's a little bit of that going on. So, but anyway.
Okay.
Let's just follow our timeline, our history. Okay, so now I'm going to ask a question, but the ravens are still contending with the sheep. And so Barak was the one that wrote down a lot of stuff, okay? Kept records. Remember, he was keeping the records.
Yes.
Keeping the records, okay?
Okay.
So, but they're still crying out for the sheep. He comes to the assistance of the Bella. Okay. Now, in my notes, it says this the Bella is Eliyahu to come. So remember, remember in the last days, there's supposed to be 2 prophets that come. They don't really kind of tell us their names, although I think they do in one of the other books. But in the 66, they definitely don't tell us their names. They just tell there's 2. I think in Revelations, they're referred to as the 2 olive trees or olive branches. And so we're all left to thinking, most of us will be like, it got to be Enoch and Elisha because they're the only 2 that went up and never passed away. But we don't know that for sure. We don't know if those are the only 2. Those are only 2 that we know about. But like when you read some of these other books, there's hints that this could have happened to somebody else. Especially that book I got with Abraham. Yeah. They may not have been the only 2. Okay. That went up without time. Okay. But we know that 2 witnesses are going to come back. Yes. So we know Elisha. We know he took up Elisha. We know he took up Enoch. So they're saying this is Elihu, but that would be Elisha to come. Okay, so he's coming down to assist the Bella because. Okay, let me ask you this question because you're gonna get this. Okay, you all are gonna get this. Okay. Does everybody know this? It was in the 66, and I think every church done taught on this. Mashiach is here. And he goes to a place and he talks to some people. And Peter was like, whoa, I'm so blessed. Why don't we build one for you, one for him, and one for him? Who are those 2 people?
Okay. Uncle Ron, he hit us with, he was in Goshen.
Who was in Goshen?
Goshen. He's just
but I want their names, but if you want looking for a hint, okay.
Okay.
If you're looking for a hint, I'm gonna give you that.
Who were the people when Moses and Elijah? So we can build up from Moses.
And they represented who? What I should say they represented what? When you think of Moshe, what do you think of? He brought he gave the what to the people?
I don't know. Can I participate? I don't know.
Yes.
Commandments.
Yes. Okay, that was a law. Commandments the law. Yeah. And Elisha was a what?
Yeah, Ronald hit us with 10 commandments. Yep.
Okay. And Elisha was what? What was he? He was so representing the Torah or the law or the commandments and the prophets. Okay, so what is Peter talking about? What did he see? Or what event do they call this? Or so Mashiach is in the middle and he has these two on the side of him.
Okay, yep, you're right. They said Torah, the prophet, yes.
Mm-hmm. So what was Peter looking at when he said, whoa, it was a blessing that I was here?
Them.
But what do they call it? They call it a certain event. I think everybody know what they call it, right?
Transfiguration.
Yes, the Mount of Transfiguration.
All right, Cousin Jax.
Because he saw them in their heavenly state.
Okay.
He didn't see them like
flesh.
He saw them in their heavenly state. That's why he wanted to build 3 tabernacles. And Mashiach was like, y'all, bring it down, boo. They ain't get no tabernacle.
Right.
That's in my, street voice, too. They ain't getting no Elijah. No, they ain't getting one. No. Okay, anyway.
Okay, so how we pulled this.
So wait, I'm just teaching us, like, trying to go through our history so they represent the law and the prophets. So some people say those are the 2 witnesses.
Gotcha.
That are going to, come. Elisha, of course, he went up in the whirlwind. Moshe, on the other hand, was buried. They came and got him. He wasn't buried, but Yah took his body up. That's why can't nobody find him. Okay? Because the angel came and Michael actually came and got Moshe's body. But remember, he saw them in their heavenly state, change, brightness, all that on the Mount Transfiguration. Okay? So he says when they came down to help the Debella. So when you think of John the Baptist, who was he pointing to?
The sun.
Y'all better give me something better than the sun.
Yeah, how was I?
Okay, thank you.
Oh, okay. Listen, because I'm in my thinking mode. I'm trying to figure out if you're gonna throw a curveball at me or something.
No,
Mashiach, yes.
I'm still trying to get there. No curveballs right now.
Okay.
Y'all might hit me with a curveball. Go right ahead, because I'm going to admit that some of this was really hard because it has like these dual meanings, and then so since we don't know which ones are coming, I know that I'm not a betting person like that, but I'm gonna make a educated guess and say John the Baptist gotta be one of them. Only because remember when they was even in Sheol, John the Baptist came out of nowhere. This is my job.
Yeah, they didn't know he was even.
I'm announcing him, so every time he's about to come somewhere, John the Baptist is going to announce him.
Yes, right.
Yeah, because even when he came to Sheol to get Adam, John the Baptist came on. And he just came out of nowhere.
Yes, you're right. They didn't even know he was there. They was like, where he come from?
Yes.
Where he been?
Yes.
You are absolutely right.
So I'm going to do an educated guess with John about the other one. I don't know. Could be Elisha, could be Moses.
Listen. I know Uncle Ron, because seriously, Uncle Ron, he said, Auntie Shelly, your gift is the ability to translate the word. Because I didn't see that one coming. Like, you're right. He did announce it.
That. Yes.
That was his
That's his job. Yeah. Remember when he came to Daddy in the temple, and Zechariah was like, I know we're gonna baby, whatever. He said, your baby is the messenger that comes right before him. So when he comes, he's going to be announced. Wow. He is the king's messenger. The king's messenger is always announced before he walks in.
That
always
is a trip.
Always. And John the Baptist ain't let go of his
role yet.
Because when we read about that in Sheol, I was like, dude, you on your job. Like, he don't want to talk. He in the wilderness, even in Sheol.
And even in Sheol, that brother don't take a 15-minute break.
They didn't even know he was there till he came out. Everybody's like, what?
Talk about understanding the assignment. That man understood.
So that's my educated guess. When I don't know what he looked like, but I'm just saying. Okay.
All right.
Okay. So we got that. Okay. 3. Where are we at, y'all?
25.
Okay.
We stopped at 24.
Okay.
Then I saw that man who wrote the sefer of the word, capital W, of Yahuwah, open the sefer of destruction, of that destruction which the last 12 shepherds wrought, and pointed out before Yahuwah of the sheep, that they destroyed more than those who preceded them. I saw also that Yahuwah of the sheep came to them, and taking in his hand the scepter of his wrath, seized the earth, which became rent asunder, while all the beasts and the birds of heaven fell from the sheep and sunk into the earth, which closed over them. I saw too that a large sword was given to the sheep, who went forth against all the beasts of the field to slay them. But all the beasts and the birds of heaven fled away from before their face.
Okay, stay with me, because in a minute it's all going to make sense why this is so like, like which one is it before? Is that
yeah.
Okay. So when you read the last 12 shepherds, they're saying the minor prophets. But I mean, we all know there's no such thing as major, minor. All of them did what they were supposed to do. They just say major prophets is
it was all
bigger,
major.
wrote bigger books, whatever. You do your job to Yahuwah. He gave you 5 talents, 2, 10, whatever.
Right. The body got to function.
Yeah. Okay, so now we have, I saw also that Yahuwah of the sheep came to them. Okay. And taking in his hand the scepter of his wrath. Stay with me. Seized the earth, which became rent asunder. I'm going to tear this place up. While all the beasts and birds of heaven fell from the sheep and sunk into the earth, which closed over them.
So, okay.
Stay with me.
Okay,
okay, who's the Yahuwah of the sheep that comes down with the scepter in wrath? Let's first get that point out the way.
Who's Yahuwah of the earth?
First, who's Yahuwah of the sheep?
Uncle Ronald, he said Moshe.
Is he? I mean, I get what you're saying, but who's Yahuwah of the sheep? Yahuwah. Moses is not Yahuwah. Moshe is Moshe. He is who he is. He is never referred to as Yahuwah. I just gave you an answer right there.
Say it again.
Yahuwah of the sheep.
Yahweh? Listen. That was like, no, listen, that was like if Johnny had 2 apples, okay? And he ate one. How many apples does Johnny have? I wasn't sure if it was that easy. I just wasn't sure. It's like, that's why I have to put my bottom lip up.
Yahuwah. Come on, y'all.
I wasn't sure.
Yeah. No, I hear what you're saying, though. I get it. But he comes down with his scepter.
Okay.
Remember, kings have scepters.
Yes.
Right? Okay.
Ooh, it's hot.
And he says he seized the earth.
Okay.
Okay. So he's taken the whole earth. This is mine. Give it here.
Snatch.
So who else could that be?
Yahusha.
Okay. Y'all with me on that? Anybody disagree? Okay. Okay. Which became rent asunder in half, while all the beasts and birds of heaven fell from the sheep and sunk into the earth. So leave my sheep alone.
Okay.
By sunk into the earth. Sorry. Which closed over them. What does that mean?
Uncle Ronald, he hit us with a good question. He said, is this the millennial reign?
Okay. Let's stay there. Just stay there.
The words of Marvin Sapp.
Okay.
Stay there.
Now.
Cousin from Florida, he said bottomless pit.
Okay, stay there.
Stay there.
Stay there. Okay.
One thing about desire is the song.
You're on 29, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, do 29. And 32.
Okay. Yes. And I saw a throne erected in a delectable land. Upon this sat Yahuwah of the sheep, who received all the sealed St0ryTim.
Okay. Okay, so now.
The sealed St0ryTim.
But.
Okay, I just wondering if
remember St0ryTim is books.
Yeah, but then
who opened the seals on the books?
Listen, I thought
who opened the seals on the books?
I was being too deep.
No, you probably wasn't.
No, I think I was. Because I was like, we the books. And the 144 seal, wait before I seal them.
Oh, that's what you're talking about.
Right.
Yeah, no.
Right. See,
yeah.
Let me climb on down.
We're talking about some actual books that.
Okay. See, I'm so glad we can learn together. Uncle Ron, he says the lamb.
Who's lamb?
She was talking to you.
Yeah. Yeah. Who's the lamb? I just want some names.
Yeah. Mashiach.
Thank you very much. Okay. See, I want you to use what you. I'm trying to tell you. You all know what you know. Stop thinking stuff is real difficult. It is, but it ain't. Because remember, it says what it means and it means what it says. And you already know this is going to happen. Okay. Well, most people do. I'm not going to take it for granted that everybody do, because there was a time I didn't know. I had to learn. Yeah. Like, woo, that's going to happen? Yeah. Okay, so now let's keep going so we know and remember John was even crying over like, who gonna open the seal? Yes. And I said, don't, it's okay. Mashiach has, he got this. He got this. He can open the seals.
31. Which were open before him. Then Yahweh called the first 7 white ones and commanded them to bring before him the first of the first stars, which preceded the stars, whose form partly resembled that of horses. The first star, which fell down first. And they brought them all before him. And he spoke to the man who wrote in his presence, who was one of the 7 white ones, saying, take those 70 shepherds to whom I delivered up to the sheep, and receiving them killed more of them than I commanded. Behold, I saw them all bound and standing before him. First came on the trial of the stars, which, being judged and found guilty, went to the place of punishment. They thrust them into the deep, full of flaming fire and full of pillar of fire. Then the 70 shepherds were judged, and being found guilty, were thrust into the flaming abyss.
Okay, so remember, he came and sat on a throne,
Okay.
which means he's about to do what?
Judge.
He's judging right now, right? So he's pulling them in a certain order.
Yes.
Okay. So first up, so I think Enoch is giving us a little bit more than filling in some blanks in Revelation. Okay. Because Revelation says that he sat on some thrones and he judged, but he don't say who went first, who went second. Yeah. That's why this part is a little bit like, oh, who went first? Mm-hmm. But we're gonna try to use Revelation also. So remember in Revelation. Mm-hmm. Okay. First let's
you want me to go there?
Okay. Wait, where'd you start at? You stopped at 34, right? Mm-hmm. Okay.
You want me to continue to read? Oh.
Mm-mm. So first he called the first 7 white ones and commanded them to bring before him the first of the first stars, which preceded the stars. So usually, do Revelation 1:20 for me. Most of the time it's referring to something as white, which is bright. Remember, it's purity. So I'm calling the first angels to bring me the first batch. Okay. So what is 1:20?
1:20 says, Revelation says, the mystery of the 7 stars which you saw in my right hand, and the 7 golden menorahs. The 7 stars are the angels of the 7 called out assemblies, and the 7 menorahs which you saw are the 7 called out assemblies.
Okay. So I'll just make it sure. I just had to double check that the ones he called, the angels he called to go get people, are his angels. He's telling them, this 7 you saw are these, the menorah or the light, that's going to be them. Okay. So he says, bring me, they brought,
the first
star which fell down, which fell down first. Who fell down first?
And didn't get back up in the right
spirit. No, listen to what I'm saying. Who fell down first?
I think I know.
Okay, I think you did too. Who fell down first?
Oh, you giving that if Johnny had 2 apples.
I'm just saying first. First. Who fell?
Uncle Ron said something interesting. He said wormwood. That was a language between you and him because I don't get it.
I do. I know exactly what you're talking about. Okay.
Let me
that was too hip for the room, dude. Who fell down first? Give me a I know what he means.
Satan fell down. Auntie Cammy Cam says Satan fell to the earth first. And Dad says Azazel because you like names.
Yes. First, because remember he had to be down here to get Kua to eat the fruit. He's already here. He already upset. So he fell first.
Okay.
Right? Because he tried to take over the whole throne Dubai. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so he fell first. So he's the first to get judged.
Mm-hmm.
So let's take it back to, who said the millennium?
Uncle Ron.
Okay, so he's first. And so what happens to him is he gets chained for the 1,000 years, which is the millennial reign.
Mm-hmm.
So remember, that's one day to y'all. You out the game, okay? He out the game. He in chains for 1,000 years, okay? So then, okay.
And they brought them all before him.
Okay. And then the rest of them came. Okay. Do 33.
And he spoke to the man who wrote in his presence, who was one of the 7 white ones, saying, take those 70 shepherds to whom I delivered up to the sheep, and receiving them killed more of them than I commanded. Behold, I saw them all bound and standing before him. First came on the trial of the stars,
Okay.
which being judged and being found guilty, went to the place of punishment. They thrust them into the deep, full of flaming fire, and full of pillars of fire. Then the 70 shepherds were judged, and being found guilty, were thrust into the flaming abyss.
Okay. So now he says, bring me
the rest of them?
The rest of them that did my people wrong, that was doing too much. And remember, we were talking about this, I believe just yesterday and the day before. Who do these 70 represent? You was doing too much. And we read about this all the time too. I believe it's in Matthew. We just wasn't thinking nations. We were thinking it's a certain... No, I'm not going to say that because I might give it away. We never thought nations, but they had to come before him and answer. They had to stand before Mashiach and answer for their crimes.
So Auntie Melly Mel, she says tribes?
No, because then that would be us.
My cousin from Florida, he says workers of iniquity? Question mark?
He's thinking of the talents. I don't think he... Okay, he was saying, remember when my people were this and you did this? My people were this and you did this. And they was like, when?
Oh.
When all that happened?
I think that's probably why he's saying you're a worker of iniquity.
Yeah.
Like a Torahlessness. Yeah. Like you did not keep the Torah.
No.
I
mean,
okay.
Yes, no.
Okay.
I mean, you ain't like... You ain't falling off a ladder.
All right.
But okay, stay with some of the words I'm gonna say.
Okay.
Left, right.
How to code?
Left, right. Some of them he said, you did this and you did that, and you did this and you did this, you did this to my people. And they go, when? He said, when did we do that to you? Basically said, you did this to me and 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 you did this to me. And it was like, what? When did we do that to you?
Right. Cousin is like, but he said I never knew you people, right? Because he's talking to the nations.
Okay, just keep listening.
And we gotta listen.
I know what he's talking about.
Yeah, me too. The nations.
Thank you. What? Yes. Remember when they said, when did we do that to you? And he said, when you did it to the least of my people, you did it to me. Then he turned to the ones on his right and said, when I was naked, you clothed me. When I was hungry, you fed me. And it was like, when did we do that for you? When you did it for my people, you did it for me.
Yeah,
they the next month ago. Did you?
Yeah.
I missed it. Sorry.
That's all right. The unrighteous, Uncle Ronald said.
Okay, but it was those who have done his people wrong, the nations. He's judging the nations. So when you read that scripture, he's talking to nations. We've always been taught that he's talking to a group of people. I mean, which he is. Yeah. But he's talking to all the nations that did my people wrong.
The nations that he gave responsibility.
To.
Yeah, because we were...
When he took us away captive, so we were in disobedience, but I didn't tell y'all to do all that.
Right. Yeah, I didn't tell y'all to hang us on trees and stuff and feed
kill
us
the babies and feed. No,
I didn't tell you all of that.
No. And not only that, but you did not help them.
Yeah, I didn't tell you strip their language and all of that.
Yeah.
I didn't tell you that.
And there are some people from nations who do help us. And I think that's why Russia is like, let me get on the right side of this. They know prophecy.
I hope
Don't fool yourself. They know, but some of them nations like, nah, ain't no way.
And it makes sense because these are, if you think about it like this, where I see where it's like not really like it is unrighteous, but not, because when you think about the kings of the nations, they're the one that hold the power and the influence, and it trickles down to the people.
Yes.
So because you, the king that are giving you, you know, this command, you didn't properly handle the command right, which made your people not handle the command right upon my people.
Yes.
So I get it.
Yes. It's the judgment of the nation. So when you, from now on, when you read those scriptures, he's judging nations.
Gotcha.
Not really like individuals, like, you
how
know,
we were taught,
we were taught that was our, you know. But those are nations, okay? So then, remember, Mashiach don't so this is why this is like a little tricky to me, like, oh wait, this is stuff that it's still, like Enoch is still giving us, I'm going to give you a little bit more. That's why it's good to know all of the scripture. And that's why when you take a little bit from us, you take a lot.
Yeah.
When you take away key books like Enoch and a lot of the prophets like Bartholomew, the one with Pilate, you take away valuable information that is a key.
Yes.
Because without it, you can think one thing. But with it,
you see a better picture.
Yeah, you see the picture, and there's no way you can like mess this up.
Right.
But if you don't have it, you're gonna mess it up.
Gotcha. Okay.
So, and look that their judge, they were thrust into the flaming abyss, which is the what? What's the flaming abyss? Everybody know this. It's flaming. It's an abyss. You know what an abyss is? Maybe that's.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think. Now you got me questioning. Huh.
Say it.
Sheol.
Okay. The reason why.
I'm thinking the bottomless pit.
Exactly. That's it. And the reason why.
Lake of Fire.
Yeah, Lake of Fire. Sheol is not. There are two distinct places, because Sheol was like split. You had Abraham's bosom, which is where the righteous, and then you had, because remember they had to wait for Adam to get out. So that's the reason why I don't want you to say Sheol, but yes, the Lake of Fire, flaming abyss.
Yep, that's like, a Lake of Fire.
Yeah, burns, 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 burns. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, 34.
At that time, likewise, I perceived we were running out of time. I did. I perceived that thing. I perceived it. That we were running out of time. At that time, though. And somebody else perceived it because it says likewise.
Okay. So, yeah. So you all see how it's good to know your history. It's good to know who you are, whose you are, and your history.
Yeah.
Yeah. And to read these books.
Ooh.
That's why y'all put story time here.
Yeah, for sure. Did y'all not know? Here's a fun fact. I did not know much about the quote unquote Old Testament until story time. In fact, I was so
New Testament.
I was all the way new. I was like, and that's not even real, right? But I was like, okay, listen, let's get into this new. And I was like, why he keep giving me Genesis? Why he keep telling me to read Lamentation? Like, you can't get to that until you understand this, which what happened in the beginning.
Yes.
And so I didn't know a lot about the quote unquote Old Testament until we start reading stories.
Yeah, and you can see her little brains going click, click, click.
Yeah, and then you connect the dots
together. Yeah.
And I'm like, shut up. Oh, that's why they say this over here. That makes sense where it talks about I didn't do away with the law. I came to fulfill. It's like they were like quoting from back then.
Yes.
So how do you
most of their New Testament
or separate
is quotes?
Yeah, separate one from the other. They're one.
Yeah.
And so that was a little fun fact for you. Yeah, Auntie Shelly be breaking that thing down, man. I couldn't.
That's Ruach, child. It's hard, y'all.
Yeah.
Understand.
It would not been no story time had it not been Auntie Shelly saying yes. Seriously. And myself be like, all right, Father, I don't know. I was stuttering. If you watch them beginning videos.
They're not, I don't think they're
on
YouTube.
Those were on Facebook.
Yeah, by the time we got to YouTube, you was clicking.
Yeah, but yeah, I didn't know a lot, y'all. Not and it's just to know, just to like, you still don't know much at all.
Right, because now I take nothing for granted. Like, yeah, sometimes I'll be like, I'm not gonna be dogmatic because I might read something else, and every time I like put another little extra layer onto it. So yeah.
But I say all of that to say, if you don't want to read it, listen, we read it for you. 534 videos on here. Choose one.
Choose a series.
Yeah, pick one. Okay, we did the reading for you. All right. With that being said, we're gonna see y'all
on Friday.
Yeah, and cousin, we're gonna see you at 9:00. Okay.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Your time. But we see everybody else at 6 p.m.
on Friday. Remember, we're off on Thursdays.
Thank you. It is Wednesday.
Yeah, so people won't like be looking like.
So my bad. Yeah, we'll see you. Yeah, we'll see you on Friday. You're right. Yes. With that being said, Shalom, family.
Shalom.
Thank y'all for coming on too. What a blessing. Bye.